Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, should you pace yourself? We'll walk you through this program for seniors who need nursing home care. Then, is your dentist up to date? We'll share the latest tools and techniques that should be used on your teeth. We'll travel back in time to take a tour of attractions that attracted millions to our metropolis. Plus, learn why rehab time is time well spent. And do you or your spouse have diabetes, Parkinson's, heart disease, or another serious illness? If so, the VA may have money for you.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. In life, it's not always easy to pace ourselves, especially as we age. But pacing your senior years is a whole lot easier if you're part of the PACE program, or programs of all-inclusive care for the elderly. Tangi McCoy, CEO of the McGregor PACE program in Cleveland, is here along with David Schell, the Executive Director of Breckenridge Village Retirement Community, to bring us up to speed about PACE. Thank you both for joining us today.
It's nice to be here, Armin.
All right, let's start with you, Tangi. Give us an overview of this important program.
PACE is a program that provides community-based care and services for low-income, vulnerable seniors that would have no other alternative but nursing home placement. The program was created not just to help these seniors, but their family members and caregivers as well.
So it's, if I understand it, and I've been to PACE, it's very impressive. It's interdisciplinary. You bring together a whole lot of different folks to help keep people out of nursing homes, basically, if I understand correctly.
That is correct. PACE has an interdisciplinary team of professionals who gives a coordinated care approach. All of the services that are covered by Medicare and Medicaid are covered by PACE as well, in addition to a lot of additional services. Because, go ahead.
No, David, switch to you for a second. How does Ohio Presbyterian Retirement Services, the parent company of Breckenridge, how does the Presbyterian Retirement Services interact with PACE?
Well, we have two arms, Armin, within Ohio Presbyterian Retirement Services. One is the communities arm, Breckenridge Village, where we provide the retirement community services. The other is our home and community-based services, our home health. Senior Independence is the name of that. And we've partnered with McGregor to bring some of our expertise in computerization support systems to enable us to provide that care partnership to take care of vulnerable older adults.
So it actually extends a little bit what you do with your continuum of care. You've got apartments, independent, senior living, nursing home, and now people can also participate in PACE and stay in their original home for at least some period of time.
Absolutely. We know that individuals very much want to have choices and options.
Well, who among our viewers can qualify for PACE? What does it take?
You have to be 55 years or older, live in Cuyahoga County, qualify for nursing home placement, meaning need some assistance with bathing, dressing, grooming, but able to live safely in their homes, and there are no income limits.
And the kinds of services that PACE would provide to someone, can you give us some specifics?
Sure. Transportation, we have adult daycare, home health care. We have medical clinics on both the east and west sides, respite care for the families, hospitalization, therapy, those types of services.
David, more and more seniors want to stay home, that's clear. Tell us, does PACE provide a cost-effective way for people to stay in their homes?
It sure does, Armin. I think one of the things that we realize is that the retirement community provides a lifestyle choice, and it provides a great continuum, but particularly for chronic elderly individuals that are dealing with complex issues that need a lot of support. The PACE program is a very comprehensive way and a cost-effective way to meet those needs.
Well, this is great information. I know how fortunate we are to have a PACE program in Northeast Ohio.
Yes.
I think there's only two in Ohio, one in Cincinnati area, one here, and
Yes.
it's proven to be very valuable. Thank you both very much for all you do.
Thanks, Armin.
Great information. My thanks to Tangi McCoy and David Schell for joining us today. If you would like more information on the PACE program and how it might help you, call McGregor PACE at 216-791-3580 or visit them online at www.mcgregorpace.org or contact Breckenridge Village, and their information is coming right up.
For more information, call Breckenridge Village at 440-942-4342 or log on to www.breckenridgeohio.org. Next, new ways to make you smile. But first, the reason 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is better known as the White House is patently obvious. But is there a more colorful story behind the mansion's pristine white facade? We won't whitewash the facts when we return with the answer.
Welcome to Breckenridge Village, a continuing care retirement community conveniently located in historic Willoughby, Ohio. Whether it's a luxury apartment, a spacious ranch home, or newly built brownstones, it's all here with the added security of knowing more care is available when you need it. Breckenridge Village offers an exciting and upbeat lifestyle, and the food is fabulous, and our staff makes you their #1 priority. Learn more about Breckenridge Village and come see our new Veal Wellness and Aquatic Center.
The unvarnished truth is that the president's house was first given a coat of whitewash to protect its sandstone exterior against deterioration. Although the building wasn't officially named the White House until 1901, people called it the White House beginning before the War of 1812.
Years ago, recalling a visit to the dentist used to bring back sometimes painful memories. Well, times have changed. Today's dentist can be your friend, and our good friend dentist, Steve Marsh, is here with a checklist of what to expect from the dentist examining your smile. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
My pleasure, Armin.
Steve, you say patients and dentists need to talk before they start treatment, and I assume you're not talking about the weather.
No,
tell us what to expect.
You know, what we do in our office, and many dentists today do, is we sit down just like we do around a round table. We like it to be even. And especially for people who haven't been in a long time. I like to get to know them, their interests, why they're here, their concerns. All that is very important because I want to be right on it. And sometimes it's a medical concern as well.
And talk about that. I mean, you actually get a medical history, and yet you're treating their teeth. Why do you care about their heart?
Well, for example, we know now that there's a relationship between periodontal disease and heart disease. That's one thing. A lot of people may have, today, as we get older, diabetes. That's a problem. It gives dry mouth, and dry mouth causes decay.
And I know you've actually identified people who potentially had oral cancer issues.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that patients should expect from their dentist on an initial exam and when they come in to get their teeth cleaned. That's one of the procedures, and recently a patient came in who was a Golden Opportunity viewer. And she came in just wanting some dental work done, and here's a picture of her tongue. Nothing there that was dramatic. She had worn her teeth and wanted some, actually some partial dentures, the new ones that we use. Her concern was not cosmetics, as we often talk about here. And as she was talking to me, Armin, she was sort of slurring her speech, and I asked her a little bit of her history, and it turned out that earlier in her life, actually 2 to 3 years earlier, she had some teeth taken out. When the teeth were taken out, she actually thought that they had injured her tongue and there was some nerve damage. But as she talked, I asked her husband about it. He met with me as well. And he said, you know, ever since then she's sort of slurring her speech, and I asked if it was getting worse. To make a long story short, and it's really important, I sent her to an ENT. I thought she might have a tumor, and in fact, it had taken over her tongue. So that's something that's very important, and one of the things that people should expect from their dental exam today.
Great. Now, in addition to taking the medical history, you've talked about the tools, the choice of a dentist's tools, and how that can impact patient care. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and I brought a lot of them with us today. One is a digital x-ray. Today when we use digital x-rays, this takes a picture that the patient can actually see in the chair. It's not very big, it's soft, it's round. It actually does a beautiful job of picking up the x-ray. It's also green, if you will. We don't have papers to throw out, we don't have developers. And here's a patient in my office actually seeing her x-rays, and it allows me to educate them, much as we do here on Golden Opportunities.
Okay, and I look like, what's the Roger Rabbit?
Roger Rabbit. But Armin, those are the glasses that I use every day, so be very careful with them.
Okay.
That enlarges things 3 to 4 times their normal size. It allows me to see things more clearly. People should expect that from a dentist. Other things, we have cavity detecting fluid. We also have antibacterial scrub that we do for the tooth. This is a Diagnodent. We've talked about it before, but it helps dentists identify decay. This is with a laser, and you can actually see the laser on the end and that tip. And those are all things that in today's modern dentistry, you mentioned earlier, it can be painless. These are some of the things that we bring with us to make the dental experience that much better.
And I just want to point out to our viewers how far away you moved those glasses from me so I wouldn't hurt them.
That's sort of my lifeline, if you will, Armin.
Silver isn't the gold standard anymore for fixing decay.
No, you know, silver fillings are 50% mercury. We know that's not good. Some people are still using them, and I wouldn't say that everybody should get them taken out, but if they start to break down, we use cosmetic dentistry to help that out. This is a patient who came to me. She was unhappy with her smile. The teeth had rotated and shifted over the years, and she said she had read a lot about the silver fillings. We took them out, did posterior crowns, all porcelain and porcelain veneers to give her a beautiful smile.
Nice, very nice.
So one of the things I really want to bring out is when patients come to the dentist, today's dentist should have a number of these instruments, not tools, to make the dental experience better and to help better identify patients' issues.
Great. Your teeth deserve 21st century care, so make sure your dentist is up to date on how to treat your smile. My thanks to Steve for joining us today.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, meet me on Lake Erie, dearie. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Experience Hardship to Hope, African American art from the Karamu Workshop at the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage now through January 1st. The vibrant and dramatic artworks from the 1930s were created by a group of talented African American artists and depict truths about life during the Great Depression. On October 19th, the museum will also present the documentary Against the Odds, The Artists of the Harlem Renaissance. To learn more, call the museum at 216-593-0575 or visit www.maltzmuseum.org.
We've got a lead story for you, and here's the headline. Doris O'Donnell makes news. As a reporter for 58 years, Doris covered it all on both the national and local scenes, from Cleveland mobsters to a presidential assassination to a local murder that made national news. Now Doris has her byline on a book that chronicles all these stories and more. Doris is here to give us the backstory on her memoir, Front Page Girl. Thanks for joining us, Doris.
Well, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it very much. So, how did you end up in the newspaper biz?
Well, that's the only thing I ever wanted to do. My mother was a Democratic ward leader, and my father was a city fireman, and he brought home all these newspapers from all over the world. And after he got through, my brother and I could scramble and read them, and that's how we learned geography and history and politics.
No, great. And that inspired you. So,
yeah.
But most women reporters at that time, when they did become reporters, did fashion. You cornered the market on crime. How'd that come to be?
Actually, before crime, when, you remember the news and press, everybody went to war, and Louis Seltzer hired girls, Nat Howard hired girls, and we wrote all the obituaries for the dead soldiers.
Ah, I see.
So that's how we got started, and after the war, we thought the guys would replace us, but they kept us. So some people went to fashion, some people went to obit, some people went to the police station.
And you went to the police station.
Eventually I did.
And you got directed to the infamous Sam Shepard case.
Oh, God, yes.
That occupied a few hours of your time?
Well, it occupied 10 years.
10 years. And so tell us about it a little bit. What involvement did you have? And
well, it was national news, as you probably recall.
Right.
And the courthouse is small, the seating was small. So Judge Blythen, who was the presiding judge there, he figured out that the local press could sit within the courtroom, and all the rest of the people could sit as spectators, which included the Shepherd family. But we had people from the New York Times, the AP, the UP, Considine from the UPS, and UP, I'm not sure, and then Detroit, and every place they came in, because it was Bay Village, considered kind of a ritzy place, and a doctor.
Did you feel that the reporting was fair on that?
How can I say that? Yes and no. It was fair as much as we could get, but the people in Bay Village got so sick of reporters that I think we were scrambling at the bottom of the barrel, and maybe things were not always. But I think they were fair, because I'll tell you, Louis Seltzer and Nat Howard said, you're going to get a lot of good stuff, write it, but it won't be printed unless that particular person takes the witness stand. So all the goodies that we had, with the exception of Susan Hayes, those goodies were not printed.
Now, switching gears here for a minute, you did a lot of fun stories, stunt stories, for
I loved
example.
them.
I mean, there's pictures in the book of you on an elephant and you doing in a tank. Oh, we have the pictures here.
Yeah, I love.
So, tell us about this. What kinds of things did you do?
Well, that was the elephant that went into the promenade when the thing started, Mills Brothers Circus. But you notice that they put shorts on me, and guess what? When they got me down from that monstrous beast, the elephant had hair 2 inches high, and my backs and my legs were all bleeding.
Oh my gosh.
They were supposed to use a blowtorch to get the hair off the elephant.
We could be talking a lot more, but I'm going to have to wrap.
I know. Go ahead.
You're great. This is a great book. Doris O'Donnell, she can not only report a story, she's great at telling a few of her own. Her life pounding the pavement and behind the typewriter make for a page-turner. Front Page Girl. We'll be right back.
To find out more, call Kent State University Press at 330-672-7913 or log on to www.kentstateuniversitypress.com. Next, words of wisdom for healing wounds.
It's time to get up and go. An exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we are going to do a seated row to work our back and our bicep muscles. This is a great exercise which will help you pull things and objects closer to you. All right, you ready to go?
Maybe.
All right. We're going to start sitting nice and tall so we can breathe throughout this exercise. Put your heels out in front of you with your toes pointing towards the ceiling. Take the exercise band and wrap it around the mid part of the foot. Okay, let your arms hang out naturally in front of you, and all we're going to do is simply bring your hands into your stomach and squeeze your shoulder blades. All the way out, hands in. Make sure you take nice deep breaths and use slow and controlled movements. How does that feel, Armand?
Actually, the audience can't see. My biceps are bigger than yours.
That's true.
It's covered up.
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
That's what you can't see.
All right, everybody. 2 to 3 sets, 12 to 15 repetitions. Now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
You've experienced something life-changing, a stroke maybe, a head injury, or an amputation. But after immediate medical response is completed, your next decisions are crucial to your future. We're talking about rehabilitation therapy. Dr. Dan Shamir's here to take us on the journey of recovery. Dr. Shamir's with the Cleveland Clinic Rehabilitation Hospital at Lakewood Hospital. Thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Nice to meet you, Armin.
Good to see you. So how does a rehab hospital differ from a regular hospital?
Well, a rehab hospital is still considered a hospital. The funding source is different than a regular hospital. It has a separate pool of money that the hospital gets paid from. Besides for that, the focus of it is to improve the functional outcome and get people home.
So improve the outlook, get people home. How does that differ, or when do you use a rehab hospital as opposed to either a nursing home on one hand or outpatient rehab on the other?
Well, in making that decision, there's actually a whole clinical team that comes together to triage patients or to look at them before they're admitted to a rehab hospital. You have to be sick enough to remain in a hospital, and that means the medical complexity we address is higher, because the rehab hospital actually has the full force of a hospital behind it, as opposed to a nursing home, skilled nursing, or being at home. So you have to be sick enough, you have to be able to tolerate 3 hours of therapy a day, and you have to have the goal of homegoing as being your ultimate functional goal.
So let's take an example. Let's say somebody had a stroke and then is now rehabilitating. What happens first? What happens physically in the hospital?
Well, again, the first step is the intake process. Usually you're seen by physical and occupational therapy plus minus speech therapy in the regular hospital. That data is then brought forward to one of the rehabilitation physicians who assesses the level of care that's necessary. Once it's determined that the level of care is the rehab hospital, we admit you into the rehab hospital. We actually discharge from, even though our hospital is a hospital within a hospital. We're at Lakewood Hospital, but the main hospital is one entity, and the rehab hospital is a separate entity. You're discharged from one, admitted to the next. You get a whole new group of nurses, therapists, etc., and they all do their assessments.
What is selective stimulation? That's a term that I've heard used.
Actually, there's electrical stimulation is probably what you're referring to.
Okay, that shows how much I know. Electrical stimulation.
Where sometimes muscles haven't woken up after a stroke. And what we do is we put electrical pads that deliver electricity, galvanic stimulation, and we actually move the muscle from a device. And that's sometimes sort of like jump-starting a car. You kind of jump-start the muscle, the brain remembers that the muscles are there, and you start getting motion back.
One advantage of being at a rehab hospital, I would think, is that if there were any complications, first of all, you'd be able to catch it hopefully before it became a complication, and if there was, you could fix it easier.
Again, the concept of a rehab hospital is that you have more medical attention. You have doctors seeing you more often. We take great care to prevent problems if possible. We monitor for blood clots in the legs. We have activities and ways to minimize the risk of aspiration. That is, if your swallowing isn't good, that the food doesn't go into your lungs. We monitor for bed sores and try and prevent them. We try and prevent other infections such as bladder infections. And if we do find something, you don't have to go by an ambulance back to the hospital. We actually have the full
force. Which can be very disruptive.
Disruptive, costly, and patients who have had strokes, it disorients them. Right. They go from one location to another. So you basically have the full force of hospital care in your rehab setting.
Doctor, we could talk longer, but I can't, but it's very interesting. Thank you for this information. Appreciate it. I'm not sure a lot of people understand that there is this thing called the rehab hospital. The steps to recovery may be challenging, but their success leads straight through rehabilitation. My thanks to Dr. Shamir for walking us through them today.
To learn more about the Cleveland Clinic Rehabilitation Hospital at Lakewood Hospitals, visit their website, www.lakewoodhospital.org. Next, little-known benefits for vets.
We're Gateway Title, keeping life simple. We can make it simple. We've got everything you need. See how easy selling your home can be. We're Gateway Title. We're keeping life simple.
Are you or your spouse suffering from diabetes, prostate cancer, ischemic heart disease, or Parkinson's? Did you serve in the military? If so, you may be entitled to some very important benefits. Sadly, many veterans who are suffering from lingering health problems due to their military service don't realize that their illnesses are due to their service, and they don't understand that there's help available. Here to explain is my law partner, Mike Solomon. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Man.
So tell us about a veteran's disability pension.
Well, you can get a disability pension if you have an illness related to your prior military service, and the amount of it can be pretty significant. It kind of depends on the impact of the illness on your health. So, for example, if you're 30% disabled, you can get a payment of $376 a month. If you're 100% disabled, the payment can actually be as much as $2,673 a month, and a little bit more if you're married.
Okay, who qualifies for this pension?
Well, any veteran who has a service-related illness qualifies for it. The problem is most veterans don't realize they can qualify because the illness may occur, decades after they've had their military service.
And I would assume it's hard to prove that, some illness you're suffering, diabetes, came from your military service.
Well, yes, it is. It's very hard to prove. Now, fortunately, what's happened is the government is going to presume that if you were in Vietnam, Korea, or World War II, certain illnesses are going to be service-related. All you have to do is prove you were in the military at those particular times and that you have that illness.
All right, so you don't actually have to prove the connection.
That's right.
All right, so tell us the illnesses, at least give us some ideas of the illnesses that would entitle a veteran to benefits.
Well, number one, there's a long list, but some of the, for Vietnam veterans, it could be type 2 diabetes, certain types of heart disease, B-cell leukemia, chronic pain, and also, by the way, if that'll cover if you're in Korea, and then they have a special one for if you're in Korea or World War II, that'll include like arthritis and Parkinson's and certain other diseases.
So if I previously applied for disability benefits and was turned down, am I done?
No, matter of fact, you should reapply. What's happened is in the prior years, what would happen is you applied and they really rejected most people. They took a very hard line. Now it's the opposite. They've told their evaluators to look at these more closely and be more generous, so you may get a benefit that you rejected last time for.
I'm sure a number of our viewers are saying, wow, this could apply to me. How do they get more information?
Well, number one, you should go maybe to the VA website. It's on the screen there, or contact a veterans organization like the American Legion or the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and they'll probably have all that information for you.
Thank you, Mike. If you or your spouse served in the military and is now suffering from some serious illness, you may be entitled to benefits. Follow Mike's advice. Don't miss out.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner & Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information, or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for watching today. Join us next week. We've got all kinds of new and good information. Until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.